Om Shanti and a very good morning from Aberdeen.Hindu Temple in Stonywood in Aberdeen. Today is the 19th of December, 2021. It's the last session before of the Christmas break to be restarted in the new year on the second Sunday of the new year. But in the meantime, actually, we need to prepare ourselves and get ready for this festive period. This festive period where we actually come together in the family and actually share love and gifts with each other. But what greater gift can we give than that of sharing our love, our forgiveness, our generosity, and where we actually, with a lot of humility, come together to celebrate a time of spiritual awakening, a time where we ourselves remember that there is light in the world, that there's light in the self, that we ourselves are light. I'm not going into any denominations, but I'd like to speak about spirituality and the moments when we become spiritually aware, when our divine life has started, when we become aware of our own spirituality. That moment in time when we actually manage to have that connection with the Supreme. That is when we experience godly sustenance. That is the time when our study, our spiritual study, is extremely important, actually, our self-progress. And as we progress further, we learn to become pure, which means that our intentions are pure, benevolent, loving, that there are no ulterior motives in it. So the fact of being able to forgive, to tolerate, to uplift, and to support becomes a natural nature of ourselves. We become like trustees. It is almost as if the divine has entrusted in us the ability to uplift, to support the world. And so in that moment in time, when we make that connection with the divine, and we understand that whatever I say, whatever I do, is actually not coming from myself, but I'm the conduit, I'm the trustee through whom the divine actually allows things to change. That is the moment when I become aware of the greatness of this task, and I humbly just become the trustee, and I endeavor everything to the Supreme, so that whatever the big task is at hand, it can be done. And I'm not an obstruction, but I'm actually there to benefit. And when we look back into this world today, or this year, which we hoped to be different, then there is still that room for feeling distressed or fearful, unsure about the future. But there's no greater certainty than actually that of your own spirituality. However, this is a personal experience. And so for this personal experience, one has to pay attention and has to practice being incorporeal, So being the soul, the being of light, the one that is not material and therefore doesn't need anything from the material world. Yes, this vehicle, this body needs to be fed, needs to be looked after. It's wonderful if I can stay warm. And so I have to look after this vehicle because it has to be entrusted to me as well. So I, the soul, I'm actually responsible for it. But incorporeal also means to detach myself from the things of the material world. It is not to deny, but it is to detach myself and lovingly interact with the world without any needs, without any need for a comeback. Completely viceless, which means that I decide for myself to not engage in any of the vices, which the 5 main vices are lust, ego, anger, greed, and attachment. So I almost take a vow not to engage in any of them, rather to respond with the qualities of the soul, which are peace, love, wisdom, purity, and happiness. So in all actions during my day, I will try to bring these qualities forward. And whenever there is the pinch or the awareness of one of the vices, such as anger, which can be in many different forms, such as irritation, peacelessness, conflicts, speaking back, I myself become aware of these things and I detach myself from them. I actually say, oh, that's not what I want to be. I want to be generous. I want to be forgiving. I want to be tolerant. I want to be understanding. I want to turn back the fruit of my own spirituality, of my own awareness. And I don't want to punish or create conflict or difficulties. And then egoless. Egoless is the last of the awarenesses about that we will keep till really the end of our life, but to conquer my own ego, to actually become the one who actually expresses self-mastery and self-awareness of the highest level is a great achievement. Very few people actually are able to let go of their ego, because it can come in many different disguises. It's not often visible, and neither visible maybe to myself, but it is felt to be a necessity, to be a right that we might have. But actually to let go even of that means that my fortune, my line of fortune is unbroken. My line of fortune is clear and strong. And at this time, the time of the change from a world of trouble and chaos into a world of peace and happiness and benefit and longevity and all the good things, abundance. We are in that time of transition. And so in that time of transition, I myself have to already have that goal, have that vision of that time to come. And therefore already in my own self, see myself acting as if I am in a world of goodness, a world of peace, a world of support and generosity, of tolerance and understanding. And so what do I do to achieve that state? Well, I have to become conscious of my thoughts. I have to check my thoughts and see what's going on inside this laboratory of my head where the soul is seated. What type of thoughts do I have? And so by actually checking, I can actually change my thoughts. If I have a negative thoughts, then I transform it into a positive thought. But then further to that, I also have to have willpower. I have to be able to let go and to change whatever actions I'm taking and align them with what I want to become, what I want to be. So in spirituality, we actually are in a school where we actually change and transform ourselves, where we see the example of the Supreme, of its love, generosity. He's like a mother, like a father. The guidance, the support, the positive energy towards a positive, good outcome. When I become aware of that energy, of that awareness, that consciousness, and I actually align myself with that consciousness, then slowly, drop by drop, I change myself. And the things that in the past irritated me do not irritate me anymore. I just understand what's happening, and I can look past that and see the goodness of the soul, the person I'm interacting with, where the interaction wasn't that positive, and where I actually have the aim of giving back the highest level of interaction, the best interaction, the one that is only going to benefit the relationship and is not going to cause any negativity. So I pay attention to how I live my life. I pay attention to my food, my drink, because if I were to take alcohol, then at some stages I would be inebriated and I would not be able to think straight. And alcohol takes about 4 days to come out of the system. So if I actually want to ensure that my consciousness is of the highest level and it's not affected by anything else, so I already pay attention to what I eat, what I drink. In Ayurveda, we have the three gunas. So I want to take food that is sattvic, which means food that has not caused any sorrow to anyone. Food that is not based on greed. Food that is fresh and pure. And that comes from nature, best, very close to nature. That is when all the ingredients of that food are still present, and I get the support of that. Rajaguni foods will excite me, and therefore when I'm excited, I cannot find easily that right measure. And so again, to spicy foods and other foods that actually incentivize the senses are not beneficial for spiritual awareness. And tamaguni fruits are those that make me heavy and lazy. They actually lower my energy. And so the idea of paying attention to my food and drink, particular at this time of the Christmas period or the festive period, one isn't a Christian, is really to maintain the highest level of health in the body, but also so that the soul, the spiritual being, can express itself in the very best way, so that my interactions, my relationships are of the highest quality of all. And then, yes, I feel loved. And then, yes, I feel appreciation and thanks from others. And it has a positive effect on myself too. So let us meditate. Meditation really is the form, or is the way of healing the self. And we have all different dimensions for that healing. So the body, but also the spiritual being and the environment in which I live. All three are important for health and well-being. So let me sit down and just relax. Take nice, deep breaths and detach yourself from the world around you. Become aware that you are eternal, that you are a soul, a being of light, and that you are at this time, in this moment in time, in this place, in this culture, in this family, that this is where your destiny had brought you to in this very special moment of time. But be aware that your journey has been very, very long, over many different lifetimes. That originally you belong to the soul world, your home, your residence. That your prime consciousness is that of being a soul, a being of light, that expresses the core values of peace and love and truth and happiness and purity, wisdom. That when you express them, you create almost like an energy, a vortex of positivity, of goodwill, of peace, where everything around you maintains its highest quality, and where there's benefit not just for yourself, but for everything around you. Take another deep breath and just relax. And become aware how you, the soul, the being of light, a child of the Supreme, you're in connection with the divine, with the one beyond this world, beyond this physical world, who is benevolent, who is loving, who is here to serve you and to care for you, to sustain you, and to train you, to guide you, to become the highest that you can be. And it doesn't matter where you are, in what part of the world, in what situation. When you fill yourself with that peace and that love and that happiness and that wisdom, that truth, and you connect with the divine, nothing can take away your happiness. You become eternal yourself. You become a beacon of light, like a lighthouse. And you dispel the darkness all around you. And slowly, like a lighthouse, you fill your surroundings with light. And like a searchlight, you send the light into the darkness of the world. Know that you're not alone, because you will come in connection with other searchlights who are bringing light into the world. And slowly, slowly, this light becomes brighter and larger. And it offers hope and support to everybody around you. More importantly, you have that connection with the Supreme, which provides you with contentedness, with lightness, with happiness, with satisfaction with where you are in life, no matter whether the job is good or bad, or whether people are good or bad, but you're good. And by being good, everything else becomes good. Now, in that awareness, imagine yourself to be like a lotus flower with lots of beautiful, sparkling petals. And go around each one of them and give them a quality of yourself. Do this for at least 5 petals in your own mind. And now that you have provided 5 different qualities, feel how they are willed to you, how they're given to you by the Supreme. And you, the soul, you're connected with the Supreme. You feel the love and light of the Supreme touching your heart, your mind, allowing yourself to be free, to feel free, to feel light. It uplifts you. Nothing disturbs you. self-sovereign. You're able to control your mind. You're able to benefit everyone and everything around you. Your love, your generosity, your purity. Give a crystal clear message of your own light, your spirituality, your benevolence, aims and objectives. And moving into the festive period, may this be a time where you can spare a moment or two to sit in meditation and to lovingly await the rays of the Supreme as coming in contact with yourself. Soften and re-energize the self. And bring that light into your house, into your family, into your life. Make sure your voice, your eyes, your intentions bring that happiness of that attainment of having come in contact with the Supreme. Bring that light and happiness into every action that you take, knowing that at all moments and at all times, the Supreme is expressing himself through you. Be the messenger, be the one who brings lightness, happiness, understanding, trust, forgiveness, and tolerance during this time, thereby making sure that you finish this year of 2021 in goodness, in good relationships, good actions, and that you step into the new year 2022 is strong, determined, and with that positive energy that will bring change in a positive way and uplift not just yourself, but those around you, and bring the feeling of satisfaction with life, happiness, well-being, health, wealth, prosperity. So with this, I wish to wish you a happy festive period with good times with those that are close to you. I wish you that you will be able to find some times of peace, quietness, introspection, and just become aware of the goodness that is inside you. Remember the 5 petals, the goodness that you bring, and wish you all the best. Om Shanti. All the best. Bye.